Welcome to Debbie's Grill, where we talk about issues that matter to the state, void of politics, fear or favor. Private legal practitioner Martin Kpebu has predicted that a criminal case against the former chief executive of the National Food and Buffer Store Company, Hanan Abdul Wahab, and his wife, Faiza Seidu Wuni, is set to expand significantly following a dramatic day of legal maneuvering. Speaking in an interview after Abdul Wahab and his wife Faiza were rearrested by operatives of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, Mr. Kpebu suggested that the Attorney General's decision to discontinue the initial trial was a strategic move necessitated by the discovery of high-value evidence. The couple had been standing trial over their alleged involvement in a 78 million loss to the state. However, on Tuesday, Deputy Attorney General Dr. Justice Swimsa informed the High Court that the state was withdrawing all charges due to the emergence of fresh evidence. Reacting to the development, Mr. Kpebu noted that while the restart is a sobering reminder of the scale of alleged corruption, it signals a more robust effort to recover stolen assets. Mr. Kpebu emphasized that the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayenen, and his deputy are keenly aware of the intense public scrutiny surrounding the case. He argued that the prosecution would not have taken the risky step of cancelling the Zixin trial unless the new evidence was substantial enough to warrant a fresh start. The legal practitioner expressed confidence that the upcoming trial will be bigger in nature, suggesting that the authorities have likely stumbled upon a much larger web of financial irregularities than previously known. The rearrest has sparked intense debate over the procedural implications of the Attorney General's action. Earlier in the day, Justice Achibonga had discharged the accused persons after the state filed a nolle prosequi. The subsequent swoop by Iyoko as the couple left the court premises indicate that the state intends to rearraign them on new, possibly more severe charges. As the legal community and the general public await the filing of the fresh docket, Mr. Kpebu urged Ghanaians to remain patient. So, Ajay, interesting days ahead though. So the Attorney General has dropped charges against Mr. Wahab and his wife, Seidu Faiza Wuni. So Mr. Wahab is the former CEO for the National Food and Buffer Stock Company. He was in charge of, supplying goods to schools and all that. And then we realized that he has diverted 78 million. And that 78 million was diverted to ghost suppliers that does not exist, ghost company that do not even exist, to supply goods to these schools. And the more reason why his wife is being mentioned in this was because his wife was also being named as a company who supply goods to these schools. And so part of the money was being diverted into the account of the wife, all in the name of she handling a company that supply goods to the schools. So along the way, we realized that 78 million was being disbursed into these ghost names. And so this man was being taken on and investigations went on, and then he was being granted bail. But just yesterday, the Attorney General dropped the case, and then the case is about to be restarted again. Now, if you take it from the law perspective, if an issue is being dropped or an issue is being discontinued, it totally doesn't mean that the issue has come to an end. It means there's not been enough evidence to continue the case, and so the case needs to be dropped. Then unless the case has been totally or permanently discontinued, And that is when we know that, this case will not be taken on again. But in this case, the issue with regards to Wahab and his wife was not totally or permanently, let me use the word permanently, was not permanently dissolved. And so now there's been a fresh start of the whole case, which totally means that there've been a fresh evidence, of they've gathered enough evidence, and this evidence requires the whole process being restart. So the money that he has paid and all that, definitely are going to hire lawyer and all that. So it means it has been in a waste. You will need to get another lawyer. You will need to pay them again. And this, in a way, will also be not per se huge loss to the state, because the state will also need to pump in some money, because first of all, we've wasted our time on a previous one. And so right now it has to require a new time and a new energy and a new money. Because people being picked from Iyoko to investigate issues like this, corrupt related issues, needs to be paid. They'll be paid by the state. You don't just ask somebody to investigate issues and then it ends the no. So it means that the investigation they've done before and the money they've taken is now that the case will be restarted or will have to be started again. Then it means that, or we have to start the whole issue. Yes, we have to start the whole process again. It means that these people will need to be paid again. And so they say we are finding all possible means to fight against corruption. And this issue, when it popped up, was one of the issue, aside the ghost names, the NSS scandal and all that was really trending. And people were keenly following this issue. So they granted this man a bail. Now the Attorney General bringing this on, as I said earlier on, means that there's been a fresh evidence. And this evidence required the whole process to be started again. Now my issue is, we are now coming to start this whole process. Do we really have... Do we see that positive result coming up, that the state is going to win against these people? Because this is the state versus Wahab and his wife. The money that is being embezzled is not for the Attorney General. The money is for the state. The money is for you and I. And so it is the state versus Wahab and his wife. My question is, do we see the government winning this case? Or Wahab will win over the government, or win over the state? Because we've seen instances where people embezzle from the state huge sum of money, and at the end of the day, they win the case against the state. And most often, these cases do not even get anywhere. They keep telling you to go and come, back and forth, till the issue dies out. Now, when this issue pop out, we are all surprised, because for me, I never thought this issue will be re-raised again. Because in this country, when you are being granted bail, it comes with a whole lot of things that goes through your mind. But I still hear people saying that, we should give them the benefit of the doubt. Since the issue is restarting, then it means that there will be a positive outcome, whether there will be a positive outcome or not. So this whole issue is being done. We don't even know whether there will be a positive outcome from this. But as I said, our main motive is to fight corruption. Because tell me why you will divest 78 million into accounts of ghost suppliers that do not exist. Now, I want to understand why, if a politician or an individual is being given a position by the government, you end up stealing from the state. You end up taking money that do not belong to you. No wonder during their term, there were instances where there were shortages of food and all that in the schools. This is because this person who was supposed to supply these foods We're diverting money. So how do we expect the schools to get the needed food they need to, grow in stature and then feel this comfort both in mind, soul, and in body to study? 78 million we are talking about here is huge. Whether it's small or not, it's still huge because it's the state money, it's the taxpayers' money. This money can be used in other developmental projects to benefit you and I. And so we cannot just allow it to slide just like that. No. See, it will be a very huge disappointment if after this whole, because they are coming to restart the process, it means that the time, the energy, the money that was being pumped into the starting of the first case, the previous case has amounted to nothing. Let me put it that way. And so they will need to start it all over again. So it will be a very huge, debt, one, to the state, and a very huge disappointment to we as the citizens of this country, if at the end of this whole thing, this back and forth, and this man and his wife are allowed to go scot-free because they are not being found guilty or they are not at fault. That would be a very huge disappointment. Because you can't tell me that 78 million is missing just like that. No. And these are clear evidence that shows that the money was being, disbursed into account of companies that claim to be suppliers, which some of them are not suppliers. Some of these companies do not even exist. To the extent that the wife of the same former CEO of NAFCO was also receiving money. I should tell you that these people, they don't steal our money and spend it alone. They spend the money with their families whilst you struggle. So if this money is not being retrieved, if these people are not being made to face penalties of their own action, then we are joking when it comes to corruption. Because the state is taking this action because they want to fight against corruption. So what becomes of it if at the end of the day, if after stressing, if after paying, or let me say wasting state funds, and then no one is arrested, the money is not retrieved? What is the essence? It means we've wasted our time, we've wasted energy, we've wasted resources. We hope and we pray that after the second case that the Attorney General will be looking into, it will bear positive results. If they are found guilty, they are going to face the laws and the money will be retrieved. But if that does not happen, then I think we should forget about fighting corruption. Thank you for making time with me on Debbie's.